let's take a look at the next one. So this next one is, again, another equation, obviously much more complicated than the other one that we had at the beginning. So what do we have? We have 3z minus 5 plus 2z equals 25 minus 5z. I want you guys to keep in mind that whenever you are solving an equation, I promise you, it doesn't matter how simple or how complicated the equation is, you end up doing the exact same steps. Sometimes you can just skip some steps, but you always do the same 4 steps. Step number 1, get rid of parentheses. Oh no, there's no parentheses in this one. Okay, we skip that step. Step number 2, combine like terms. Who can I combine in this problem?
3z
Mm-hmm.
plus 2z.
Exactly. Now, why can't I combine this one? It also has z, because it's not on the same side of the equal sign. We'll get to that 5z in a second. But the second step is to combine like terms. So 3z plus 2z would be 5z, and nobody else was touched. So everybody else stays exactly the same. All right, so step number 2 is done. We combine like terms. Step number 3, make sure your variable is on only one side. Right now, the variable is on both sides of the equal sign. I promise you, it does not matter if you put it to the left or to the right. Sometimes it's easier to go one way. Sometimes it's equally difficult. I don't know. It literally doesn't matter. You're used to seeing it on the left just because some mathematician a million years ago decided to start putting it on the left. But it doesn't matter. So, which way you want to go? Left or right?
Left.
Cool.
Left.
To the left, to the left. So if we're gonna move to the left, this has to move to the left-hand side. Now, this is gonna cross over the equal sign. Whenever you cross over the equal sign, you need a special ticket, and that special ticket is you gotta do the opposite of what you were doing. Since this 5z was subtracting, the opposite would be to add it. So add 5z, and you're gonna do that on both sides because you gotta keep things nice and balanced. So this is going to become 10z. You did not touch the negative 5, so the negative 5 stays exactly the same. You did not touch 25, so 25 stays exactly the same. Step 1, 2, and 3 are done. The last step is to isolate your variable. In other words, get rid of constants and get rid of anything that's multiplying and dividing. You always move the constants first. So in this case, you're going to move the 5 before you move the 10, always. That 5, again, it's going to cross over the equal sign, so you're going to need to do the inverse. So what should I do to that 5?
Add it.
Yeah. We're going to add it. 10z comes down. That's 0. That's 30. And then what is the last step that we're going to do to that 10?
Divide.
Yep. So z is going to equal to 3. I promise you, it does not matter how complicated or simple an equation looks like. You always do the same 4 steps. Parentheses, combine like terms, variable on one side, isolate the variable. That's it. All right, so let me shrink this a little bit so it doesn't go into my other problem because that's kind of annoying. All right. A park commissioner designs a new playground in the shape of a pentagon. If he plans to put a fountain at every corner of the park, how many fountains will there be? Guys, how many sides does a pentagon have?
5.
5. If you guys don't know what the Pentagon is, it's a really important building in the US government and it has 5 sides. So a Pentagon literally looks like this. So it has 5 sides. How many corners does it have?
5.
5. So you're going to need 5 fountains. That's it. It was a super long problem just to make sure that you knew that a pentagon had 5 sides and 5 corners. That's it. If one angle of a right triangle is 30 degrees, What are the other two angles? So we have a special type of triangle here. What type of triangle do we have?
Right angle triangle.
We have a right
Um,
triangle. They literally tell you, you have a right triangle. Now, what makes a right triangle special is something very basic. It has a right angle. That's it. What is the measurement of a right angle?
A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
No.
Oh, no. Actually, no. That's
90.
what Pythagorean said.
90. The measurement of a right angle is 90 degrees. So if I tell you that you have a right triangle, automatically in your brain, you need to know there's one angle that measures 90. I don't really care about the other two right now. I just know there's at least one angle that measures 90. So that means if you look at your answer choices, anything that doesn't include a 90-degree angle is automatically wrong. So automatically A is wrong and B is wrong because they don't have a 90-degree angle. All right, so you have your triangle. You have your corner that measures 90, and they tell you that there's another one that measures 30. We need to figure out the third one. What is the rule for the angles inside a triangle? What is a special rule for the angles inside a triangle?
Or they all equal 180.
Is
No,
it 60?
They're not all going to equal 180 because clearly one of them measures 30, one of them measures 90. They don't equal, they're not all going to equal 180. It has to do with 180, but it's not that they are 180.
Wait, I forgot. You said it the other day, right? Ugh.
What's the question again?
The question is, what is the special rule that focuses on the angles inside a triangle?
Is it the same or for sure?
The special rule for triangles doesn't matter what kind of triangle you have. Could be a right angle, it could be any other angle. The special rule for triangles is that if you add all three angles inside a
They
triangle,
have to.
it
They have
has
to
to equal to 180.
180.
It's not that each angle is 180, and it's very, I know it sounds like a tiny detail, but it's an important detail because if you say they equal 180, you're going to understand it wrong and you're going to do it wrong and then you're going to get the question wrong. It's not that the angles inside a triangle equal 180. That's impossible. It's that if you add the three angles inside a triangle, they have to, the addition has to equal 180.
That's
So
what I
that
was
means,
saying.
so that means that 30 plus 90 plus x equals 180. It has to be that all three of them added together. And then based on this, we can figure out, we're like, okay, this is 120.
60.
And then you subtract and you get 60. Yes. So that means that missing angle would be 60. So one of them has to be 60, one of them has to be 90. So it's going to be C. All right, last one. Sorry, any questions on that before I go to the last one?
No.